We're making chicken tikka masala. This has been modified for meal prep, but I am going to keep it as authentic as possible. Let's get straight into it. Starting out, we're going to need 700 grams of boneless and skinless chicken thigh. You can also use bone in and skin on, it's up to you. And depending on size, make 3 slices across, then just slice it in half lengthways, and this is going to result in even sized pieces. Let's then add this into a large mixing bowl, and we're going to squeeze in the juice from half of a lemon. This is going to tenderize the meat from the acid. We're going to give this a really good mix through just to make sure everything's evenly combined, and then just let this sit for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, we'll make our curry paste. This is 80 grams of natural yogurt, 15 grams of ginger, 6 cloves of garlic, 5 grams of ground cumin, 2 grams of ground coriander, 2 grams of garam masala, 4 grams of sweet paprika, 2.5 grams of Kashmiri chili powder, salt to taste, as well as a bit of oil. I use about a tablespoon's worth. Place the blender on high and then just blitz this up, scraping it down if need be. The garlic and ginger might be a little bit of a trouble to you, but just make sure it's nice and smooth. And if you don't have a blender, this can easily be done by hand. Just make sure you grate the garlic and ginger. With that done, we can then add the marinade into the chicken. We're going to give it a really good mix through, making sure everything's completely coated. And you can use it straight away, or you can let it marinate for about 30 minutes, up to 48 hours. The choice is all yours, depending on how much time you have. In this case, I am actually going to be using it straight away, just because I need to get this video out for you guys. Now, whilst the chicken's marinating for a little bit, we're going to need 2 brown or yellow onions. Slice off both the top and bottom. Slice it in half, and then we just remove those annoying skins, saving anything for a stock. Then we're going to slice it in half lengthways, rotate it 90 degrees, and then just dice this up into large chunks. Obviously, you can go smaller if you wanted to, but I like the nice large size pieces for this type of recipe. Next is 10 grams of ginger. I know ginger went in the marinade, but we're also going to be using it in the sauce. This can just be ran along a microplane just to create a paste. Place a large saucepan over a high heat, add in 300 grams of washed basmati or long grain rice, along with 600 milliliters, which is 600 grams of cold water. I'm also using 4 bay leaves for a nice piney flavor, which is optional, as well as a little bit of salt to taste. Give this a mix around just to prevent any clumps, and then we can bring this to a boil. And once it is at a boil, lower the heat to low, place on a lid, and then just let this cook for 14 minutes. After 14 minutes, turn off the heat, but let it sit there for another 4 minutes with the lid on. Then remove that lid, take out the bay leaves as they're no longer needed and have done their job. Then just fluff this up with a fork or spatula just until we have this beautiful, soft, fluffy rice, which can then be popped aside for the time being, and you can also do this in the background whilst we cook the curry. Also, these are the macros for the rice alone, and that is per portion. Now for the curry, place a large pan or pot over a high heat, add in 30 milliliters of any neutral flavored oil of your choice. To get this nice and hot, then we can add in the onions along with a big pinch of salt, and we're going to saute this for about 7 to 8 minutes, just until golden and translucent. It is a good idea to let this sit for a time being just to get that color on it, just mixing it around occasionally, and don't let it fall out the pan like what I did here. Now once the onions are golden, add in the chicken as well as all of that curry paste left in the bowl. We're going to break this up and just make sure it's not stuck together because it will obviously stick, and cook this for about 8 minutes just to get a nice golden color and that flavor developed in the pan. We're not looking to cook the chicken the whole way here because it will be cooked a lot longer, but once you have a nice golden sear on it, that's all that matters. Next to go in is that ginger paste we did before. This is just going to add a beautiful fragrance into the pan. Just mix it, break it up, and cook it for 45 seconds. Next is to add 1 gram of ground turmeric, 7 grams of ground coriander, 3.5 grams of sweet paprika, 1 gram of Kashmiri chili powder, as well as salt to taste. Then just mix this through, cook this for 1 minute, just making sure you stir all of those flavors together just so they can become friends. Now because chicken tikka masala is a tomato and cream based dish, we're going to add in 30 grams of concentrated tomato paste to get that depth of flavor in there. Just mix this through until combined. Then we're going to add in 400 grams of chopped tomatoes, that is just 1 can's worth. And then give this a really good mix through, making sure you check it for seasoning as well. And then bring this to a boil, reduce the heat to low and cook this for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, give this a really good mix through just to keep those flavors developing. Then we're going to add in 180 grams of low-fat cream. You can use full-fat cream if you wanted to, but if you want to cut the calories, it's obviously a good option. Freshen it up with 2 grams of garam masala as well as 1/4 of a lemon juice. This will just add a nice little bit of acidity to it. Then give this a really good mix through. Keep it over a medium heat this time and just cook for 5 minutes just to get that flavor in there and for this to become absolutely delicious. Check it for seasoning one last time and then just remove it from the stovetop. And these are the macros for the tikka masala alone, as well as the serving size per portion. As for serving up, I have left the weights on those macro cards throughout the video, but you can also divide everything by 5. It's completely up to you and how you want to do it. Obviously in the past I have just divided everything by 5, but I want to make it a little bit more accurate. We can also garnish with some coriander or cilantro, which can be put on when you're ready to serve if you don't want to put it on straight away. But what we're then left with is this beautiful and absolutely fragrant chicken tikka masala. Let these cool for about 20 minutes before placing on the lids, then store them in the fridge for up to 4 days and in the freezer for up to 4 months. Reheat them in the microwave or in a pan, it's up to you. And these are the macros for the complete dish, including the whole weight. So with everything out of the way, we've got this beautiful chicken tikka masala. There's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. It's not very often that I'll sit here and eat the whole thing before doing my outro, but the flavour in that is just too good. It gets better with every single bite you take as well, and it just blends perfectly. You got all of the creaminess, the smoothness, it's a little bit rich, it's not too heavy. Absolutely fantastic meal, definitely do make this one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.